Because I wasn't actually sure, and Taras asked me if I could speak in Russian, and I definitely could, but it would be much easier for me if I can speak English, and I hope you can understand me. How many of you actually do speak English? Okay, well, almost everyone. How many of you actually do understand English without speaking? Okay, so I guess we covered pretty much everyone. And I'm very happy and very honored to be here today. That's, I have to say, to start with. I'm quite glad that you guys actually survived the party last night, actually, because you're here. I'm gonna speak. I think we also have an interpreter, just in case somebody couldn't get what I'm saying. So let me start. I'm gonna talk about regional networks besides Facebook, but more importantly, I'm gonna talk you who you should be, why you should go there or not go there, and most importantly, by the end of my presentation, I hope you will be able to actually make yourself, to choose and make the right decision if you should go or not go, and what social network actually to choose. So let's begin. So first of all, the first question, once you have a product and you have a game or you have whatever product, an application, you need to decide where you want to be. Because today, and it's true, that Facebook rules the world, and Facebook, of course, is #1 social network in the world, and the most revenue you will be generating on a Facebook. So if you want to think globally, you need to think Facebook. But if you would like to think locally, and for example, you have somebody in your team who speaks Spanish, who speaks German, or French, or Italian, people who probably lived somewhere outside of Russia for a while and can actually give you some hands-up how to make a successful game for international market, you probably should go to the local networks, like for example, VisiNet in Germany, which generates pretty decent amount of revenue, not as much as Facebook, but still it's pretty decent, and for small developer, I think it's gonna be a really good start. Also, you want to be on the biggest social networks, geographically wise, to be prepared for the Facebook. Because once you need to polish your game and make it perfect for VisiNet, or Mixi, or Never, or IMVU, or Yahoo, even for VK.com or Hives, it means that once you launch a game there, you keep your users interested, you gain the audience, it means that you're ready to move to the Facebook and make a good money. Because competition on a Facebook is huge, and if you're not prepared, you're gonna fail, you're gonna lose your investments, you're probably eventually gonna lose your team, and nobody will never know about you. So first decision you need to make is where do you want to be, and what social networks you need to be. Don't go everywhere, but go on the largest ones geographically wise, and start with Europe. Don't start with Russia, because if you want to be successful, if you want to make money, you need to think outside of Russia. Outside of USSR, pretty much, post-USSR. Second point is, what do you want to be? You want to be the leader, you want to be unique in your genre, and you want to create a game which would be completely different from everything on the social networks at this moment, including Facebook. The good example is a game made by GameInsight Mystery Manor, which is probably not the very first game on a Facebook in a hidden object genre, but it's definitely #1 game on a Facebook at this moment. Because once we launched it on a Facebook, the next game in this genre was Gardens of Times by Play-Doh. I can tell you, they were putting a lot of traffic in that game. And look, several months after, where is that game? Somewhere on a Facebook, no growth of audience, probably not growth in the money, I'm guessing. But Mystery Manor is #1 right now on a Facebook in this genre. Mystery Manor is actually the game which making more than $1 million already since the launch only on a Facebook. Another thing, once you create a unique product with the qualities with a high quality content, pretty much, with unique graphics and so on. Don't try to put it on every social network in the world right away. Choose carefully. If you have a hit game on a Facebook, it means you need to choose carefully for another social networks, because once you start to spread your resources, it means that your quality of the games and keeping users interested for updates and so on, it's gonna be on a downturn, and it should not be happening for Facebook, definitely. What you should have to be successful, you should have team, not just team in terms of like somebody freelance or outsource or somebody you could like. You need to have a team you trust. You need to have a team which is loyal and committed to your product. So if you call programmer or designer in the middle of the night because the time difference with Facebook, let's say, or with an ad or any other networks, you call in and say, hey dude, I actually need this update right away. The guy should be able to tell you, yeah, okay, I'm waking up, give me 10 minutes and you will have it. Because the loyalty and committed team is one of the key points of your future success. You need to have a great game. And great game is actually it should be actually number one after team, but it's kind of negotiable, I would say. But you need to have a great game. Like I said, it should be a unique product and should be high quality content, and it should be the game you would be 100% sure gonna be a hit. At this point, you need to make a decision if you want to make a game for your friends who will love it and think that you're a rock star, or you want to have a game which actually gonna be loved by millions of people and will be able to generate revenue for you. Because that's actually a big dilemma pretty much for every small development studio. You need to have monetization models. That's how you're gonna make money. And it's not should be just, oh, hey, I'm just gonna put on a third level of a game wherever, you have to pay me. The user should not be feeling like you want to take his money. User playing your games should be feeling like he wants to pay you money, because he thinks that you're a rock star, he thinks that your game is absolutely freaking the best game in the world, and this is the only game he's gonna be playing for the rest of his life. So be careful how you're using your monetization model. Also, regarding to monetization, please think about and research the possibilities of payment solutions you have in the regions where you're gonna launch your game. Because for some countries, the SMS, for example, works better than credit cards, right? But if you launch a game somewhere in the United States, or I don't know, like even in Germany with only SMS in it, what's the point? The users, for example, I'm playing your games, I want to pay you money. I'm clicking on it like buy wherever, like limited item in your game. I'm clicking on it, there is a pop-up window that says, hey, send your SMS to number in Russia. I'm like, huh, what? And I'm sitting in Germany, right? Be careful about what payment solution you're using. Try to cover all of them, but with regard and with respect to the country you are. Okay, you need to have additional content. Additional content is to keep your user interested, and that's very important. Because as long as you're keeping your user interested and addicted to your games, it means the lifetime of your game is gonna be forever. We implemented this first in the Resort World, and Resort World lifetime on a Facebook was almost a year, with average time usually is for a game is like up to 4 or 5 months. And in terms of lifetimes, I mean, the game is not dying. Game never dies, right? But in terms of like revenue and audience growth and so on. And you need to know the top languages to localize your game on. Because even if you're launching, for example, game in Brazil, it doesn't mean automatically that the Portuguese is going to be the only language you need to localize on. It's also going to be Spanish, it's also going to be several other languages. So study the community and the audience, language-wise, speaking population in a country you're launching your game. How much much does it cost? I think this is probably the most popular slide because everybody wants to know how much it costs to develop the game. And let me tell you that it's all about marketing. Start to think about marketing before you actually even developed your game, because once you have a game and you have no money to promote it, there is no way you're gonna survive and there is no way you're gonna be successful. I can guarantee you that. So it's all about marketing. Put some money in development to make high quality content. Hire some people, community management. This is actually the part of your team who would be outsourced. You're gonna pay for localization, customer support, and hosting. But marketing is a key point here, because in marketing you need to put the most money you have. What you should know, at this every year there is a new high thing on a market, right? New platform, new I don't know, development language, whatever, new operational system, and so on. So in 2011 and 2012, the most wanted, I would say, platform would be, of course, iOS, Android, Facebook, and possibly Google+. The biggest problem with every platform is on an Apple, cost-wise, the approval time could take forever. It could be really short, but it also could take forever. There is a lot of uncertainties in terms of if your application going to be approved or if not going to be approved. If it's not approved, why it's not approved, what changes you should have. With Apple and iOS, it's usually really difficult to know what exactly the problem is. That's why it could take you even longer than you expected. Also, you need to know that iOS is perfect environment for paid applications, but not so perfect environment for freemium games. So if you make freemium game, I would suggest you to go on Android first and think about iOS after. With Android, the biggest problem is fragmentation. There are so many devices, you don't know which device to go, what resolution, and blah, blah, blah. The integration takes forever. It's very painful, but it does pay off. If you invest a great deal of time and your effort and energy in Android, it pays off. And fragmentation is actually not that hard to figure out. Once you have some, and it's public, accessible information, you can figure out in what country, what device is selling the most on the highest rates. And that's how you choose your devices to develop the game for Android. For Facebook is high cost, of course. The user acquisition cost, the marketing, the promotion on a Facebook, huge. If you don't have traffic on Facebook, you won't be able to compete. I think everybody knows that. So if you have marketing money to spend, or probably waste if you don't know if your game gonna be the hit ones, you should consider Facebook. But like I said before, please consider other biggest social networks geographically wise before you're going on a Facebook. That's gonna help you a lot. And the last one, of course, is Google+, which made a huge buzz lately. They just opened up their API for the developers. However, it's still closed platform in this moment, even though a lot of experts call it that this is the fastest growing platform so far, and they have by now more than 40 million users. Still, you don't know who those users are. I'm pretty sure that majority of those users also have account on a Facebook. So it's like, if I'm playing on a Facebook, why would I want to go on a Google Plus and play the same game and play again, right? So it's a lot of uncertainty there and a lot of concern there. I wouldn't cross out Google Plus from your list yet, but I would definitely consider it a little bit more carefully in terms of your priorities. How to make right decisions. So I guess you guys like developers, right? Or some of us probably thinking about, should we go with a publisher or should we go on our own? How we do it? Should we do it and not do it? Because when you go with a publisher, there is the biggest probably question: why do I if I'm doing all the work, why do I have to give up a significant percentage of my revenue, right, to a publisher? The thing is that greedy it's not the best way to think. And if you, small team, if you have limited resources, like for Facebook, this is the example for Facebook. Like if you have limited resources, if you have no foreign market expertise, например, actually, I'm still jet lagged. I got from US, I went to Moscow, now I'm in Kyiv, and I'm like, so anyways, I'm sorry for that. So for example, if you have no foreign market expertise, you don't know how the users behave in United States or in Taiwan, and Taiwan is one of the biggest countries right now on Facebook, growing countries. If you don't know how they behave, go with a publisher, because they do have expertise, but just do not use any publisher. Use the biggest ones. Use the ones who has actually a proved history of success on that platform. Ask them to give you the as detailed marketing plan for your game as possible. If you can ask them for some numbers, do it. Go with it. So if you haven't launched any projects yet, and your game is going to be your first project, and you hope that that project is not going to be a huge failure for you, but you don't know yet, go with a publisher. You need to have global thinking. Once again, you have to have high quality content, of course. If you don't know, usually publishers work on several platforms, Facebook and several others. So if you're not sure if you should go on a Facebook first or not on a Facebook first, go with a publisher, because they will make that decision for you, and that's going to be a really good thing. And of course, language culture barrier, because even if you launch it on a Facebook, you need to be able to support your game, you need to be able to provide on a right language community management, and so on. So in terms of publishers, top platforms only. And the publisher needs to be in a top list of, actually, they would be under developer, but they need to be in a top list in that list, and those publishers you want to go with. You don't want to go with the smaller ones, because they're gonna actually make their name using your game. And they're gonna make your money, they're gonna make their money and their revenue using your game. And that's not always the best case scenario. If you have no other options, you should go with it. But however, if you are different and you think that you can do it on your own and you don't need any publisher and you don't need anybody else, trust me, you can do it. The only thing you need to think global. Think outside of Russia, because trust me, the major money are outside of Russia. And revenue, which you're gonna be generating, is outside of Russia. And it's a great deal. Go outside of Russia, think global. Trust me, you can do it even if you don't speak English. You can always find somebody who speaks English, and you can be a great success. Dare if you can, but evaluate your risk. For example, for Facebook, of course, well, not of course, never say never, but probably none of us ever gonna be as big as Zynga on a Facebook, right? But, well, we never know. But you need to be very careful in terms of, and understand if you could compete with the biggest ones, for example, for Facebook. Zynga, Vuga, 6 Ways Played On, the list is very long. So that's why I'm actually underlining that you need to have high quality content and unique game, because that's what important. You need to be able to compete with the biggest ones, and compete not by taking their audience away probably, which would be nice, but anyways, but still to be able to interest user to play your game, not their game, or play at least 2 games at the same time. Secure resources. You need, like I said, you need to think about marketing before you even start your development, so you will have money to promote your game. And remember that it doesn't matter how good your game is. It doesn't matter if you think that you made like the number 1 game of all times. It doesn't really matter, because by the end of the day, you need to count the revenue your game generated, because you need to pay for your development, you need to pay for your apartment, for your families, for your team, for promotion, for like, I don't know, your mother medication, it's like the list goes on. So, always think about money. Always think how your game is gonna be making money. Oh, of course, yeah. I need to say this because actually GameInsight is growing really fast. We have like 15 studios right now, right? 15? Yeah, we just took in like 3 other studios. However, we're also hiring really badly. There is not enough people, unfortunately, in the market at this time. But if you have any, I don't know, reservations regarding if you can go on your own and do it on your own, please consider GameInsight. And if you need a job, or maybe your friend, or sister, or brother, or cousin, I don't know, needs a job, please, you're always welcome to apply. And that would be my presentation. I think I made like, I left 15 minutes, about 15 minutes for questions, if you have any. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
And I can ask a question in Ukrainian. Natalie, all correct language solutions. Lately we had such a situation. We offer a free localization for a social game to a number of game developers, and we had very few responses. This offer is still on, and maybe someone is interested now. So my question is, how many developers are launching or going to launch their products in foreign markets by their own? And do they need a localization? I guess they need.
Well, yeah, the answer is simple. Yeah, they do need localization. And you said that you provide free localization? Wow, that's significant like cost saver over there. And what's your interest in it? I'm like, you providing free localization? What are you making money off?
It's kind of promotion.
Yeah, but you still need to make money, right? So if you provide free localization, how do you make money?
We provide it for perhaps one or several products.
Oh, but you have other projects which you actually charge for localization. Oh, okay. How can I be your top project? I want to get a free localization. Why not? It's gonna save me a couple thousand of something. So, anyways, yes, I don't actually know the exact number of developers who's launching ourselves on other social networks. Usually, it's like big companies with several development studios in it. But yes, they do need a localization. Free localization is very interesting for me. I've never heard about that before. But I think I don't really know how to answer your question, because I don't know the number of developers who are launching on themselves. I do know that they need localization because it's logical. But yeah, that's my answer.
Тогда еще раз поблагодарим наших.
Oh, the question was about our project. Oh, how many developers of GameInsight going on its own?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but...
Oh, not necessarily. Okay, I can answer that. So your question is how many developers out of those 15 studios go outside of GameInsight and launch their games not under GameInsight name? Oh, in which languages? Well, top languages, for example, for us right now, it's English, of course, it's Italian, French, Portuguese, Spanish. What am I? Oh, Chinese, I'm sorry. Chinese traditional, it's Japanese, it's Taiwanian, like some Malaysian languages. And yeah, those would be the top ones. And our developers don't go outside of GameInsight launching their games because they don't need to.
Добрый день, Даш. Я свой вопрос задам на русском, извиняюсь. Александр, компания Wildek. Даш, а подскажите, ваш опыт, ваше мнение, насколько большая разница между между американским рынком, европейским и азиатским? Насколько надо менять свои приложения, изменять баланс игры, стоимость и так далее? Можно поподробнее об этом? Ваш опыт, я думаю, что он очень большой.
Okay, yeah, I can tell you that the difference is big. especially if we're talking about US and Asian markets, because their mentality, the cultural thing is absolutely different. And for example, in Japan, in China, in Korea, it makes a huge difference, because sometimes you need to take some items out of the game so the user in Japan wouldn't feel offended when they go through tutorial, and tutorial has like for example, one of our games, which is originally First Aid in now my clinic, I'm sorry. So First Aid, for example, created when we created it on a logo, it was like beautiful girl with a huge boobs, Russian type, I would say, and European type logo, which would attract the attention. But when we launched it in Japan, we needed to redesign it, because if we would launch that logo in Japan, that would be not just a failure, it also would make a bad name for us, meaning that we would never be successful in Japan ever before. So you need to take into account very small things to make your game successful in terms of payments and prices. And well, for example, in Japan has very high IRPU right now. So you need, if you, for example, launching your games on a Facebook for US audience likes cheap things, a lot of discounts, a lot of sales. So once you have sale sign, occasionally in your game, it means your game is going to be successful. Because if you're running in a game, for example, a banner which says, hey, this item you can buy on a limited time, on a 50% sale, they will go for it, and that's how you make money. In Japan, it's completely different. Because in Japan, for example, they're not about sale, and they're not about cheap stuff, they're about quality stuff. So I wouldn't suggest to launch, for example, Elvis Presley statue as a limited edition in a game as an update, because in Japan, because that would have no interest. But if you launch some Japanese singer wherever you don't even know about, that's going to be success. That's what I mean when I say that if you don't know, you need to go with the publishers, because they will give you really exhaustive list of things you need to have. But the difference is huge. Okay.
Все, нет вопросов, да? Наконец-то.
Hey, thank you.
Спасибо, Дарья. Очень энергетичный рассказ. Thank you.